Friday Frenzy with Lisa Novak. How are you this morning, Lisa? I'm not going to do an intro. We're just going straight in.
Straight in. Oh la la. Have you got a late note, Mark?
No. Yeah.
You're running late.
I had the dads and daughter thing this morning, and I'm late.
Yeah, late. You had a good excuse though. You know, it's always hard, right? We're always juggling a million balls, and yes, we are parents as well. So, you know, how can you say no to your daughter's dads and daughters breakfast? That has to take precedence.
Yeah, I do find it pretty hard to say no.
You can't say, yeah.
If it's sport or if it's an event or something, it's got to be done. It's got to be done.
Absolutely.
Father's Day.
It's Father's Day on Sunday, and unfortunately for us, we don't have our dads. So it's a bit of a sad state of affairs. But I tell you what great dads we had.
Oh, weapons.
What great dads we had, and what a great dad our daughters have got, Mark. You're an awesome dad, honestly. I mean, you know, we work ridiculously long hours, but we always make time for our kids.
You can never do enough. Hey, I guess you always feel like you know, you want to do more, you could do more. You're always leaving something on the table, but that's life. It's with everything.
That's it. And you know what? I think at the end of the day, if you can just walk away and say, I just did my best, that's all you can do. I think as a parent, you always carry this level of guilt. It's often a question that I'll get asked, Mark, a lot. You know, people are always reaching out saying, how do you balance? Like, how do you find the balance? We don't. We just do our best. We really do. But, you know, a really good tip, something that we actually instigated into our own life a few years ago, was the not negotiables. So making sure that we were sitting around a dinner table with the kids twice a week. So like, you know, diarising it, as crazy as it sounds, but otherwise the week gets away.
Some people would be horrified to hear that, but you know, it's one of those things that we had, I guess you got to do. And we but Sundays was always kids' day. So even with our adult child, doesn't make sense, but our eldest, who's 24, we try to move those. We've always put a Sunday aside to just hang out and move in one group, whether it's a birthday party or whatever. So anyway, that's Sunday, Father's Day, Family Day. What's happened on Friday Frenzy? What's happened this week, and what's new in real estate?
Okay, so we had a really, really amazing guest speaker come on during the week. For those of you guys that missed that segment, it was a little pop-up segment. It was with Robin, who is the general manager of Commonwealth Bank Private Banking. Like, what a woman to get a hold of.
Huge.
What a wealth of knowledge. And actually after that, Robin actually sent me a text saying we might be able to get the chief economist on as well next week. So stay tuned for that, guys. Can you imagine? Like, how incredible. And, you know, hearing it right from the horse's mouth about what was going on with interest rates, you know, speculation, and how busy the banks were, Mark, with pre-approvals. The numbers don't lie.
Yeah. And it was interesting to hear that normally you don't hear it firsthand. You hear it from media at 6 o'clock and news at night or something. So to speak directly and ask directly those questions, like, hats off to CBA, hats off to Robin, and great for people to you know, get some of their questions answered, because it was a live show, so you could throw questions out live, comments out live. You don't get to do that at people like that, so it was pretty special.
Absolutely. And not only that, but just how personable they are. So, you know, that was, out of so many things, that was probably my number one takeaway, was just, you know, how personable not just Robin is, but, you know, everyone at CBA. And guys, this is not a paid advertisement. This is just genuinely stating facts. You know, Robin was saying, if you're having issues, actually reach out to us. I think everything got so digital in the banking sector. You'd call and you'd be on a call center from the Philippines. But I've found particularly over the last couple of years, this, you know, human interaction that's coming back into that banking sector. Like, I've really noticed that, haven't you?
Yeah, like this morning I was with the dads and daughters at the school brekkie, And I think there's a lot of that coming back. And travel was another thing people were talking about, where it's just all coming back. It's all coming back online, and people are yearning and longing for some simple things just like that, just to have a good old fashioned chat. Everyone's very quick to go digital, which was probably, in sometimes it's a little bit lazier. And I think people are looking forward to that hard work of that you got to put into relationships. A good old fashioned lunch, or a good old fashioned belly to belly meeting, it's back.
Nothing replaces that human interaction, right? Not a Zoom meeting. You can't feel the emotion through that. And, again, just, with respect to the banks, that was the one thing that really stood out for me. Like, if you're having problems, actually reach out to them and have a chat. They were putting out that helping hand. But some key takeaways, I've written some notes. I love writing notes. For those of you guys that don't know that about me, I have a book with me all the time, and I'm forever scribbling down notes. But these are some really important factors that were raised with Robin from General Manager, CBA Private Banking. Refinancing is huge at the moment. So one of our best mates is a mortgage broker, and he testifies exactly that, how swamped he is with doing all the refinancing. Pre-approvals are up.
Yep.
Right? That's insane. The cash rate is tracking towards a 2.6 forecast.
Yep.
Really interesting stats. And then, of course, talking to your banks and bringing back that human interaction.
How high it can go. There you go. That's their
prediction. That's the prediction. Couple of other things. Mark, you raised a really good point about Meriton. What did you say to me just before off air?
I just had a talk with James Bannermine through Meriton, and their last weekend was the busiest weekend of sales since April. So, and why I like that sort of data is it's not scrappy or small data. It's big data. They're Australia's biggest developer. So when they're a bit like CBA. When they see a bump or they see a trough, it's real. It's not a gut feeling. So to hear that was that liveliness through the last week of sales with those guys, and I said, absolutely, we saw the same thing. Which you've been talking about the David Jones half yearly sale. We've seen the same thing. So yeah,
just watch that. I often talk about the mini spike, and I think a few months back everyone was like, whatever, like this is such a buyer's market now. Property is going to be next to nothing to be able to buy. I think we've seen the bottom of the market. I think we are seeing it now. Again, this is just my opinion. And I truly do think that there will be a mini spike. I've been talking about it for a long time. We are not seeing the stock levels coming on in preparation for spring that usually we would see, but we're seeing still very, very large buyer numbers at these open homes. We've had a busy sales, Mark, in our own agency.
Absolutely. And people forget that it's essential. It's like there are certain things that must get done. And property is one of those things. Moving property is one of those things, whether it's renting or selling. Sleep is essential. Food is essential. There's things that are essential that, medical is essential, that just keeps going. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So if you want to abstain from eating for a week, you are going to eat a lot the week after. And same with property. You can, people may be able to abstain for maybe as long as 6 months or 12 months from the normal volumes, but it comes back. But in COVID, people stopped, they abstained, and then it came back. So we're seeing that come back, the start of that now, 100%.
Yeah, I totally agree. And again, those low stock levels that are coming on. And, last week we had a really, really busy open on Saturday. I think we were seeing groups of sort of circa 12 to 15 coming through the majority of properties. And what's interesting? Not one single buyer talked interest rates. Not one.
No.
I think people are already coming into these opens going, well, we know we're sort of working on a, 4.5% interest rate. That's already what they're working on, but they've factored in that they're also getting about a 15 to 20% discount on property prices. And I think they also realise that it's unlikely that these properties are going to come off even further. I feel like that conversation, just we're not even having it, guys. So understand that if you're walking around and you've got your pre-approval in place, if I were you, I'd be going out and buying property. And no, we're not saying that because we're real estate agents. We're genuinely saying that because we've spoken to the banks. You know, we've gathered the info.
Yes. And it's not, and often, and I'm always having this conversation, it's not timing. When do you buy? When do you not buy? We've just bought. We're not just saying that. It's not timing. It's time in the market. So if you can get the money and you can buy now and you can hold it for 10 years, you'll double in 10 years. You'll double it again in 20 years. You'll double again in 30 years. That's life. That's how it works.
Yes, totally agree. Hey, I just want to have a quick chat, Mark, just about the content that we put out as well. Because a lot of people actually, I think Jonathan Creek's on here at the moment, but we did a great interview yesterday. Jonathan invited me on his show. For those of you guys that are looking for help with your social media, he is your guy. A company called Virable. Jonathan's helped us a lot in our business over the years. But just, you know, content, I think a lot of people really struggle with what to say if they're going to do these social media videos. For us, it just seems to just like, you know, we're able to come up with just endless amounts of content. And I always liken it to, you know, when you're going to go sit with a friend, like a mate in a pub or a girlfriend, and you're going to go and have a coffee. Do you pre-think what you're going to say to them before you actually walk in, or does it just flow? You know, do you write these notes before you're going to go meet with your friend and say, all right, we're going to talk about these things, or do you just sit down and just talk?
I write notes.
You do not.
Notes on Apple Watch.
Lies, you do not. So, guys, just understand that we have so much content inside our brains. You know, there's so much stuff that we hold that people just don't know. And you can always just copy content. And, you know, how many episodes have we done now, Mark? We're hundreds and hundreds of episodes in.
Oh, and look, it's I think that makes it all authentic when it's you know, when it's predetermined, and you know, people can tell that when it's just a good old chat. It's great. And I saw a really good sorry, someone just walked past. I saw Bill wants to come on. Hey Bill, you want to come on live?
Oh, look at that door open.
You want to come on live? Look.
Mark's in the Batmobile. Hey Bill. Bill doesn't. We're on a Facebook Live. How are you? Say hi to the world.
What's happening? We're just talking about life. Anything new in law?
Oh, so much.
What's not confidential that you can talk about?
No, I can't talk about any.
You can't talk about any of them.
He can't talk about anything. Bill's a lawyer, and he's one of the great dads at our daughter's school.
Specialised in defamation.
In defamation. So when someone writes something on social media.
Yes, everybody these days is pretty much a mass media publisher, because with the press of a button, you disseminate your message to a very large number of people. And
never thought of that. That's true. You can destroy one sentence, or whether it's and you can even do it on a live, and you don't even realize you've said it.
and see,
Matt, what are you doing?
Invite all the dads in. They might struggle to get into that car, Mark.
That's going to get in the other door. Come and see. Where you going, Matt?
Here.
Oh yeah, he's going to jump in the other side. He's getting in.
I was quite enjoying what Bill was saying there. I like to hear this from a legal standpoint. Bill, continue, because we are doing a live here. Continue. Okay. What happens? I mean, what are exactly? This is Freaky Friday, Luke. So you know what can happen. I mean, this is why I'm always saying when I'm doing my social media posts, this is my opinion. You know, because you can't get in trouble for saying this is in my opinion.
It depends what you say. I mean, it doesn't always protect you. There's got to be proper material for that opinion. You can't just voice an opinion just out of the blue. In my opinion, you're talking, just give you an example, you're talking about somebody giving the wrong information about the sale of a property, and then you say, in my opinion, he's a pedophile. It doesn't work that way. You
No,
see what
right, okay.
relevant.
FYI, we wouldn't be saying that, guys.
What you communicate, there has to be information on which you base that opinion to protect you from defamation. You
I
see?
love that. Don't you love these don't you love these dads and daughters breakfasts? Mark, who else have you got in there?
Oh, got Matt. Matt's really keen.
Oh, look at this.
Good morning.
He's really
We
keen.
Good
miss
morning.
you.
Be nice, Matt. You're live to the world. This is like being on TV. So be nice. How are you, Matt?
I'm sensational.
Oh, he's
As
tamed
always.
it. He tamed it. He's tamed it.
Well, I don't want to be
Oh goodness, Matt is a restaurateur, guys,
Restaurant-
and a publican.
And so basically, when you walk into a pub, if you can imagine the host with the most, that's this guy here.
the man of the people. I tell
He's
you what,
got
how
on
lucky
quiet.
are we to have
Realised
the
that live he's
best?
got-
Oh, I thought I was just talking to Lise.
That's what I thought. How lucky are we to have the best dads for our daughters? Seriously, like, you know, we've got such a great crew.
Yeah, you guys are pretty
Oh,
amazing.
We love our
Such
kids.
a great crew.
Wives. Plural.
And their wives.
And the wives, oh, you got to be careful with that. You got to be careful with that. Allegedly, Mark ate all the pancakes. What was for breakfast, boys?
Oh, there was burger, like those little burgers with
Hangover
bacon
food.
and egg. It was hangover food. There was waffle.
Hash
you
brown.
We're too old for hangovers.
No,
Bill's on a
never
diet
too old for that,
after
Lise.
his holiday. He didn't have anything.
well, you know.
How many kgs did you put on?
3.
It's all
No,
right.
it wasn't
It's all right.
too bad.
You tried.
That's what the-
I put that on just in a week, Bill. You've done well.
That's pretty good for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
You've done
Yeah.
really well.
I was
Anyway.
All
I
right,
was doing-
boys, we might leave it there. I've got to jump into a meeting.
He pre-lost before he left.
Organisation. I love that.
Hey. Well,
See
You boys
you
are my
later.
rock stars. See you guys.
Thanks,
Take care. Have a great day, everyone.
Yay.
See you
See
later.
guys.
Huh?
You never
Bye.
know what Freaky Friday is going to bring.
Just never know. That was a nice surprise. See ya.
Bye.